Well, the 2012 Choctaw baseball season is upon us. Coach Brian Owens joins us now to take a look at the 2012 season coming up here pretty shortly. Coach, first of all, let's take a quick look back at the end of last year. I know that was an exciting end to the baseball season. Didn't end the way you wanted it to, but with those 3 games out at Hardin-Simmons, had a lot to be proud of with the team last year, finishing 24-18. Tell us a little bit about how long it took you and the coaching staff and the players to get past that last weekend last season.
You know, anytime you play games that are like that, and extra inning games and long games, it wears and tears on you. And I was really proud of our guys, just the way they stepped up and played. I mean, last year was a rough start for us, and it was like we never could get over that hump. And then coming down the line, I think we won 14 out of our last 19 games, and so our guys turned it on, played well, gave us a shot to get in the playoffs, you know, and see what happened. But you know, we got in those long games and didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But you know, it was kind of tough to swallow that a little bit, and but you know, that's baseball. That's how it happens, and you get in games like that, and especially in postseason play. I mean, any team can beat you any given day.
Last year's team led Division III in home runs. This year's team offensively is going to be built a little differently, isn't it?
It is. This year you're going to see a lot more doubles and stolen bases and bunts, and actually, you know, with the new bats. You know, of course, last year leading the nation in home runs. You know, if we had to bunt, we couldn't bunt, but if you threw it down the middle, we're going to hit it out of the park. And you know, this year's team, it's good to see a little more speed in the lineup, a little bit, you know, a little better back control with some of our guys, a lot less strikeouts. So I mean, we're really excited about them.
Who are some of the newcomers that are going to be battling for playing time early on?
Well, you got Curdock, and you got Hightower's back, and Brunson's back, and you got Murphy Buggs, Daniel Wass, Josh Perez. That's just some of our infielders, and we have about 6 outfielders right now that are battling out for positions, and we'll kind of see what shakes out.
And that's a good problem to have. A lot of guys battling for key positions makes them play harder, gives you some options as well.
It is. I mean, competition this spring has been great. Just inter squads, the guys are getting after it, and they know, and we've told them that, you know, there are spots to be won this year leading up to our first game, and seeing the competition has been really good.
All too important to have solid defense up the middle of the diamond, all the way from behind the plate to center field. That looks to be an improved area of the baseball team this year.
It is. I think a lot of times you're going to see ground balls we get this year. We will turn double plays, and you know, it's good for, especially from a pitching standpoint, for them to know, hey, look, if I get a ground ball, I'm gonna get the double play turned. And this year, that's a big improvement for us. I mean, we're going to be able to field it and throw it, and you know, the rest of it's going to be in their hands.
Talk about the pitching staff. Last year, lots of talented arms, but not too deep. This year, I think you're better pleased with your depth and your pitching staff.
We are. We feel like we have a good group of arms. Some of the guys that can run up there, high 80s, low 90 guys. Then we also have the bullpen that's going to be really special to kind of see what roles are going to be won there. And we have the pieces of the puzzle. It's just putting it all together and see who's going to fit in what spot.
How much do you use these first few games of the season to determine what your pitching is going to look like the rest of the year?
I use it a lot. I mean, the first couple weekends we're playing single 9-inning games, so it's really hard. We got 2 against Huntington and then 2 against Rhodes, so it's really hard to get them into that 3-game set mentality. So you've got some, you have a weekend starter that's going to be throwing out of the bullpen, and it's just letting him know, you know, that his outing is just to get him some work. You know, that's not his role. So the first couple of weeks is really going to be running a lot of guys out there and kind of see who we can count on, who's our go-to guys, and that even goes for position players as well. I
know that in the recruiting period that you and Coach Bell and Coach Beaudry have really hit the JUCOs pretty hard, and the high school players are going to contribute too, but that JUCO system continues to produce some good talent.
It really does. I mean, each year there's just so many JUCOs, especially in Alabama, Mississippi, and a few in Louisiana, that just produce some outstanding talent, and you know, those are kids that are getting looked over, and we feel like we've got a good group of guys that come from the JUCO system, and we also have some good freshmen that could contribute a lot for this team this year.
Well, you look up and down the schedule, non-conference wise, you've got a couple of games against Belhaven, some against Millsaps, going to Alabama for this first weekend. That probably is the longest non-conference road trip that you have to take, so the non-conference schedule looks pretty good for you.
It does. I mean, and always those Millsaps and Belhaven games right here in Jackson is really easy for us, because it's not getting on the road and traveling somewhere. It's staying right here. So I mean, the non-conference is strong, and it looks good. We're excited about it, and it's one of those schedules that, you know, if you catch on fire, you can have a really good record. But also at the same time, the competition is not a walk up and a give me win. So we're excited about that, and it's going to test our guys early and kind of see what we're made of.
At Illinois Wesleyan coming in for spring break again this year. In conference play, UT Tyler gets to come to Frierson Field, and that's going to be a big weekend as we look on down the conference schedule.
It is, and a lot of the games that we played on the road last year were in some pretty tough spots to play. I mean, you go to LC, and it's so hard playing there. You know, our guys keep the right mentality, but it's just something about facing those teams that you're battling with for the top spots in the East every year. You always like to have them at home, because you keep your guys comfortable. Our guys get here, they're not staying in the hotels, they're sleeping in their own beds.
Well, we've had some nice warm weather, a lot of rain here the last couple of weeks getting ready for the season, but really can't complain about the weather you've had leading up to the start of the season.
You're right. I mean, last year at this time, I was actually blowing ice off our tarp, so I'm not doing that this year. You know, we've had some great weather. It's been a little wet, but you know, it hasn't been that big of an issue. We've stayed on practice, and we've been on the field every day. But the biggest change is really not the bitter cold that we had last year. I had clear weather last year, but sometimes it was just unbearable to get out and practice in it.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to an exciting season, and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.